Welcome back to the SWG Woodworking Off the Bench podcast. This podcast is where we step away from the bench, put down the tools, and talk about what we make and stories in the wood shop. This is episode 2, and for episode 2, we're sitting down with the owners and operators of the community wood shop of Salt Lake City, right?
That's right.
That's right. And this is the shop where I do all my woodworking and make all my films. And quick shout out to the community wood shop of Salt Lake City. If I wasn't here, I wouldn't be doing any wood projects or making videos, and wouldn't be trying to start this podcast on episode 2. And so today we're gonna talk about how the shop got started, what makes community wood shop special, and why spaces like this are such a game changers for makers who don't have a full shop at home. If you ever thought about joining a community wood shop or just want to peek behind the scenes, this one's for you. So let's get into it. I'd like to introduce my guest today. They are the owners and operators of the community wood shop. If you just want to give your name, you don't have to give your full name, just your first name and, your roles here.
I'm Ethan.
My name is Ryan.
Cool. And like I said, I want to give a shout out to community wood shop for sitting down and doing this, and where we make all our videos and make all our wood projects. So let's just jump right into it, and you guys can either share your each feelings, or one person can take a question and give an answer, or however you guys want to do it. But cool. Let's just how'd the community wood shop get started?
So I brought this today to show you. This was the project that started the shop. And so we had 2 other partners originally. And what's funny is it was their idea, and it's a father and son. And the son was like, he had found something just like this online. He's like, I really want one of those, but I'd rather make it than buy it. And it was kind of that simple notion. And anyway, they found they found us. We gave some ideas, and they came back later and said, hey, why don't you help us get this place started? And so kind of like that, it was just born from I want to make something, that desire. And then from there we found a place and filled it with equipment, and that was day one.
Cool. Ryan?
Yeah. I mean, I came on a little later, right? The original partners, the father, son, ended up selling, and I was a member at the time, but I found out about the community wood shop through an art festival, and one of the current members came up to me. I was selling my work. I'm a wood turner. And he was like, hey, where do you do this? And I was like, oh, I do it out of my garage. He's like, have you ever heard of the community wood shop? And I said, no. He says, you ought to come check it out. It's a really cool place. And by the way, they're selling it. And I was like, oh, okay. Really interested, actually. I was in a transition in my life. And so I came down and checked it out. And sure enough, long story short, I ended up buying in. And Ethan and I are now partners.
Okay.
And yeah, we love it here.
Cool. So transitioning, how it got started a little bit. How long has the community wood shop been here?
We opened it summer of 2021. So we're coming up on 5 years this summer.
Wow, cool. So that's a milestone. I know, don't they say like small businesses that start, 90% of them or what? I don't even know what the numbers are. They die within
phase out. Yeah, sometimes sooner than that.
And
we've made it past that initial push, and things seem to be going good.
Good, cool. Well, that's really cool. So who is the shop for? Is it for hobbyists? Is it for pros? Is it for beginners? Is it for makers? Who's it for? Who can come here and work, or who, and all that?
I think that we can really attract a lot of people, a really diverse crowd. We have members that are professional. We have members that are hobbyists, and we get beginners in here on a regular basis. So the answer to your question is yes.
Everybody's welcome.
Everybody is welcome.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Is there somebody you prefer to have here, or is it just everybody's welcome, or?
Yeah. So it's not a production shop. Okay. So if your business, right, if you're wanting to operate your business out of here and mass produce something, this wouldn't be the place for that.
Okay.
Really anyone else. And I think something that so many of us have in common, right, is just a genuine love for learning and making things. And so like most people here, they arrive with all different kind of levels of experience from none. And I want to try it, and to I've been doing this for decades, and I could teach all the classes and everything in between. And but like what we all have in common is that we love doing it, and we're all trying to level up from where we're at.
Right,
and
right.
you know, I think you've been doing that
Yes,
too, right?
I
You
have.
know,
Yeah, I
it's
have.
been nearly a year now, and
Yep.
you know, you've just been slowly adding to you know, the things that you've tried, that you've made, that you've had to remake, and
Yeah.
that's what we do.
Yeah. Cool. Cool. So kind of say on the what makes this shop different from like a home shop. I mean, you just said it. We're not a production shop here. If you're going to run a production, this isn't the place for you. But then like a commercial, I guess commercial shop would be like a production shop.
Yeah. You know, so a couple of things. Maybe not what you'd expect first. So the first difference is actually the people and the community. So community woodshop, and you get to come in, and you can probably hear it a little bit in the background. There's members here in the shop working right now, and so there's an element of this support, this community. It's like a family in essence that you get. And I'd say that's like the first difference is, instead of working alone, you know, dusting up your garage, you get to come and work, and you're still independent but work socially, and that makes it real exciting.
That was one of the greatest things for me when I came in. I am actually a professional wood turner outside of the shop, and I did this in my garage. I learned in my garage. I did it alone in my garage. I brought all the dust from the garage into the house. My wife hated it. Like so we solve a couple of problems really, really well with that, as opposed to the home garage. One is the cleanliness, right?
Right.
The mess stays here in the shop, and you get to keep your house clean. Number two is the space. Most people don't have 3,000 square feet of space in their garage to house all of these large, big power tools, right? Because we're a legit shop. We run all of the main big tools, right? It's hard to do that out of your own house.
Yeah, for sure.
So, and then the third thing, like Ethan said, is community. I was again turning in my garage totally alone. Ben Harvey, one of our members, came up to me and he was like, "Hey, you ought to come check this out." And I was like, "No, leave me alone. I'm a hermit in my garage. I'm fine. I'm going to do this."
Yeah.
And the community that I have found here has been one of the most transformational things that has happened in my life. So, yeah, I mean, the community, the space, the tools, all of it is way better than the home shop.
So, go ahead.
Well, yeah, and then the other thing, and maybe this is the obvious one, is most people aren't going to go spend 100,000 and then 150 and then 200,000 and that number just keeps growing to get the tools that you have here, right?
Right.
You get in a $30,000 CNC machine, you get in a $10,000 12-inch helical head Powermatic jointer. You know, you get the big planers, the multiple table saws, lots of band saws, a whole row of lathes, you know, the mortise and that list goes on, and that number goes higher and higher. And that's just cost prohibitive for nearly all of us, right? To do alone. But when we come and we work together, it works out.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So I want to touch on something, Ryan. You said you're a professional wood turner.
Yeah.
So for the people that watch this aren't woodworker, never been around woodworking, what is? Just explain to the people that don't. They're not in the woodworking business.
Okay, wood turning.
What is a wood turner?
Wood turning is basically making bowls or spindles, like chair legs or stair rails, things like that. Pepper shakers, pens, rings, French rolling pins, all of that kind of stuff. But I got into wood turning as a way to stay grounded, actually.
Okay.
It was like an active meditation for me. And as I watched the chisel remove wood from my piece, it was just this really therapeutic experience. I got into bowl turning pretty quick. This is the bowl that we teach in our classes. I teach our wood turning classes. Okay. So it's a little 8-inch cherry bowl. But my work is more along the lines of something like this. This is a small piece of mine. but I really try to lean into the cracks and the holes in the piece and allow it to naturally warp and do what it's going to do. It's really artistic. And I like that about what I do. So I travel around the West at different shows and sell my artistic pieces and try to share this metaphor that they've become for life, where, you know, there's these holes and these cracks in life that we don't really want, but without it in this piece, for example, it wouldn't be the same. Without the warping, it wouldn't have the same beauty in the end. And that's the same with our lives. And that's what I've done with my wood turning work.
Cool. So Ethan, are you a professional wood turner, or are you?
I am a professional hobbyist learning woodworking.
Okay.
So what's fun, I had but made such few things. I was not a woodworker, or what you'd call a woodworker, prior to actually launching the shop.
Okay.
And so a funny story is we opened the shop and it was about 1 month in. So we were still just figuring it out. And we had a member sign up. His name's Keith, really great guy, still around, comes in, helps us out. But he called us and he was like, "Hey, will you guys come meet me down here at the shop?" And we weren't really sure what to think. We were like, "Oh, that's weird." But yeah, let's go. And so we sat down in our front room up here, and he just kind of leans in and he tells us, he's like, "You don't know what you're doing, do you?" And we're like, "Wait, what?" Like, and he's like, "Well, I mean, do you?" And we're like, "No, but what gave it away?" And you know, putting together a shop like this was more work than we ever imagined. So to keep the tools running, to keep it somewhat clean, to make it an inviting place that people feel, you know, comfortable trying new things and learning and doing their projects, that, you know, creating the trust that we all have with each other to just leave our, you know, our burls lying around, all those things. And anyway, he had one piece of advice for us though. It's like, if you really want this place to grow, you need to offer classes. So our original launch, we just had the membership option, and that was it. And that was because we weren't probably qualified to be teaching, and so we just offered what we had. But Keith, then he's dedicated the next several weeks teaching us projects, and you know, we learned from him really how to do a cutting board in a style that we could teach as a class. We did bowls as a class and pens. And those were the first three. Okay. We only offered those three things as a class for about the next 12 months because that was all we knew how to do. And so then we just started teaching them. But no, I'm no professional, and I've just learned everything I know here from members of the shop.
So that's cool. I mean, yeah, sometimes that's the best way to do it, is just start grassroots and learn as you go, right?
Yeah.
Or something. I mean, I don't know. So that's really interesting to kind of get your guys' history and learn how it got started and what you each bring to the table now and where everything's at. And cool. So let's talk about the community. You guys talked about the community is one of the big things that you get here. And when you talk about the community, you're talking about the people. That's the community that are here, right? Oh, yeah. So what does the community really look like in the shop, in your guys' opinion?
I mean, we're all friends. Everybody knows everybody. Everybody knows what you're working on, and usually will help you. I say usually because sometimes people don't know how to do things. Right. And so if somebody knows what to do and they see what you're working on, they'll come over and talk to you and help you with it. It's, you know, I talked a lot about my wood turning. I came in as a wood turner, but I have learned, I don't want to say everything else, but I have learned a great deal, more than I did when I first came in here, just by rubbing shoulders with the community.
Right.
Yeah. And it's everyone you can imagine, from, you know, doctors and surgeons to, you know, waiters and baristas. And I mean, it's college and everyone students, in between. Yeah. So
government workers,
old and,
government workers,
and young, and men and women. And it's not a bunch of old retired guys, right? Oh, certainly there's a crowd of them, and they like to get together and do their projects. But it's all of us, and we even have just surprises you.
We have a really great women's community. We have a class that is women in woodworking, and it's taught by women for women. And I really love that about our shop. I really love that we are trying to build this equality here for both men and women, where it's a space where together we equally are safe and creative together. And I think that's really, really great.
Yeah, what I know. Yeah, let's. I don't know if we want to dive into that a lot, but I mean that's a cool concept, and it seems like from I've been working here for about a year, and that is really starting to grow a little bit. And
Yeah.
I'm not here all like you guys. I'm not here every day, all day, but I see different women all the time in here working and learning and doing stuff,
Yeah.
and that's
I think the women here are an important and vital aspect to our shop.
yeah, definitely for sure. I know I've been teaching my sweetheart. She's brand new and
She's great, by the
brand new
way.
in woodworking, but yeah, so that's really cool. So that's a real. I know when I first so I got so for me, just a quick thing is I got a gift card for the community wood shop for Christmas in 2024. And
Okay.
I was like, wow, that's really cool. I've woodworked all the time. And then I sat on it and sat on it, and I was like, man, is it just a bunch of old guys sitting down there? They're retired, drinking coffee, being grumpy.
Well,
So, but as far as the community, yes, like Ethan said, there is that group of the guys, but it's not. And when I came down here, I was so nervous and didn't know where I fit in, or and it was just like,
yeah.
but it's the community. Yeah, everybody's come together, and man, it's been amazing. So
One other thing, just to the community, is every second Saturday of every month, we have an open house where we bring people that are not just members, but are outside members of our whole community that are welcome to come in the shop. And we share the work that we've been doing. It's kind of like a show and tell thing. There's food, and it's just this big open house where we try to really encourage people to get to know each other.
cool. So all you guys got all kinds of events,
Mhm.
classes, and open houses,
Oh, yeah.
and all kinds of events. Cool. Tell me about some of your favorite standout projects from the members, the community.
Hmm. Do you have any off the top of your head?
Let's see here. Just recently, so we have a CNC machine, and it's got a turning axis, so it'll actually turn on there, and it sat unused for the first several years we were open, and finally someone's like, I'm gonna learn how to do that. And so I just recently, now we've had kind of a wave of projects come off of there, and one of them was this like eagle's head um that they, and had kind of a pedestal base, and it was 12 inches tall, and but just totally 3D carved on there all the way around. And so that was fun. I think, other projects are, it's really fun to see something that someone's going to be taking home and putting in their home, and big and small. And so just recently we got a member, he's a firefighter here,
Oh, yeah.
and he had built this like rectangular lamp frame, that he had inlaid stained glass into, and it had walnut trim going all between all the pieces. And so, I don't know, those are two that come to mind.
Some of my favorite work is actually furniture. We have a member here, Tim, that does a lot of furniture, and it speaks a lot to me because it mirrors a lot of my turning work where it's more natural. There's cracks, there's voids, and he does some really great joinery work with his furniture. He's made a lot of tables, a lot of benches, that kind of thing. And he's actually going to be helping me make my own dining room table. So
Oh, wow.
I'm really looking forward to that. Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
So
And just another one. It's so many people make their first project, or first since their middle school woodshop class or so, and that's also really fun. And
Oh,
they're
yeah.
cutting boards or pens, or just really great first projects, and the excitement that they're like, at that point they're ignited, right? It's like, oh, they've caught it, and they're going to be in here making all sorts of things, and that's really fun to see. Just because the way that they just carry that first project around is really cool.
that's
It's really
cool.
empowering.
Yeah, for sure. Um, does the community wood shop, does it offer any like, I know we've talked about do classes, but do they offer any like mentorship? So say someone never been in a wood shop in their whole life,
Mm.
and they're like, oh, I found this online, which probably happens here and there. But I've never looked at a table saw or even a bandsaw or even anything in woodworking business.
Oh, yeah.
Does the community wood shop, do they offer any kind of like mentoring services, or is it just like community members coming in and being like, we're gonna just help you out, get you through it, show you the basics, and or something
Yeah.
like that?
So it's funny. It's funny. Yeah. So most of the time here, all the help you get, I would say, is uh, much less structured than like an official mentorship, and it's the community coming together, people who know, helping the rest of us out. But we're just launching a couple of new programs. So February 1st, here's a little sneak peek of
Yeah,
what's to
thank you
come.
for
Yeah.
asking. Actually, that was perfect.
It's been one of the most requested things, and something that we've worked a long time to put together. But now with a membership, we will have just kind of open, we'll call them office hours, but guided shop hours where there will be mentors or coaches here on specific times in the shop where you can just kind of show up, schedule a time, show up, and bring any project that you're working on, and they can help you, guide you, coach you through various steps of that. And we'll do those in just kind of small groups, right? So that a couple of, it's not that a mentor's overloaded with it. And so just a couple people coming in, being able to get that dedicated support. So that's a new offering that will launch come February. And then in addition to that, sometimes you do want just like a one-to-one coach totally focused on me, that I want to make something that's a little bit of a reach, more than I'm comfortable for, just figuring out, right? I'm gonna go buy the expensive wood. I've already my wife told me where it's going in the house. And I just want some help. And so that's also available, just like an hourly rate. You can get a mentor or coach, and we've got a half a dozen of those coaches here in the shop that are just really good. Some of them have specialties, like if you're looking to do that big epoxy table, that can be a huge wasted expense, because epoxy and walnut or whatever you're doing is expensive, and if you don't do it right, you're going through a lot of that stuff. And so getting a coach for a couple hours to walk you through critical moments is also an option.
Yeah, cool. So let's kind of transition from the community to the shop itself, like shop layout. That I know you guys touched on the tools a little bit and how expensive it can become over time. But let's talk about the shop itself, like the actual shop, like the building and how you have the shop layout and the tools and all that kind of stuff. Let's how do you guys have your shop laid out? I know how it is because I work here, but um, just kind of give an overview, I guess, of the layout, and we'll talk about the tool a little bit.
Yeah, I mean they're kind of grouped together in different sections. So we have our CNC machine that's on its own in a corner here, and it's in a very lit area, so you can see everything really well. And we have several bandsaws. We run 3 different bandsaws, 2 Laguna bandsaws and 1 Powermatic. We also have two joiners of power. They're actually both Powermatic joiners. Yeah, that threw me for a second. We have an 8-inch Powermatic and a 12-inch Powermatic joiner, both with the helical head. No, actually, the big one that
They'd
it is.
love to. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. We have 2 SawStop table saws. If you're familiar with that, you've seen the guys that do the videos with the hot dog,
Right,
and it drops the blade
They
like
stick
into
their
the
finger
yeah.
in it. Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't test it.
Don't do
Yeah,
that.
God, no, but maybe
Unsanctioned.
but it's really cool, because they're the safest saws on the market, and we have had them go off. People will hit a clamp or something like that, and it goes off, and it's just really reassuring to know that.
If that were your finger,
yeah,
you'd still be okay.
Exactly. We have those safety mechanisms in place. We have 5 lathes, 2 full-size lathes and a couple of mid-size lathes. We have 2 different drill presses. We have several, we have 2 drum sanders, a planer, several miter saws, all the small hand tools, a lot of clamps.
Yeah.
What am I missing?
A couple more sanders, the big belt sanders, and some of the other disc sanders.
Very soon we were going to have a slab flattening station. We currently have several routers, but we'll have a dedicated
table for it.
So explain to the viewers what is I think most people know what a table saw is, and a powered miter saw.
Yeah.
So it's the proper name. Band saws. Most people know what those are, but what's a slab flattening station? Explain to the.
So I mentioned my dining room table that I'm going to be making.
Right, yeah.
I've bought a live edge black walnut slab that's about 10 feet tall and maybe almost 6 feet wide. It's huge. On one section, it's kind of like a V.
Okay.
And the first step in building a table is to flatten it, both
Okay.
sides. And unless you have a perfectly level flat station,
It's hard to do that.
you're not going to be able to do it, right?
Okay.
It's not ever going to be level. So we're building a dedicated 12 by 6 foot station
Okay.
that you could lay a slab as big as that on, and then it'll have a couple of bars that are acting like guides with a router on top of those that'll run back and forth and
Okay.
all over, so that the bit on that router is running level to the table, and whatever's underneath it will be leveled out. And then you flip the board over or the slab over,
Mhm.
and then you do the underside as well, and now you have a
And you have a perfectly
slab.
flat piece on both sides.
Exactly.
So, and then the layout, so all the layout, the way we've thought about this, and it hasn't changed a lot since we launched, was, if you brought in some rough cut lumber and you said, okay, I need to process this to then start my project, right? And so you're probably going to the jointer first, right? And then jointer, and then table saw, and then planer. And so the layout just kind of follows that natural processing of lumber to go from rough cut to S4S, something that's, squared and parallel and ready to chop up and glue up and get your project going. So
in addition to that, all of the machines are hooked up to dust collection systems,
Right.
where it's an automatic. You turn on the machine, the dust collection turns on, and then it shuts off when you turn the machine off. So you don't ever need to worry about that.
That's cool. Yeah. Automation's always good, right?
Yeah.
Or
yeah.
whatever you can do to make things a little bit easier for people and
Oh, yeah.
stuff. So sticking on the tool. So what's your favorite? I'm guessing for you, Ryan, the lathe is probably your favorite tool.
Easily. The lathe and a 1/2 inch bowl gouge, man. I'm happy. I'm happy for life.
Yeah. What's your favorite? The lathe. What about for you, Ethan? What's your favorite machine in the shop?
For a long time, we operated with just the 8-inch jointer, and it did everything in the shop. We looked at it as a huge leveling up when we added the 12-inch joiner. And to take, a warped or cupped or, otherwise misshaped piece of rough cut and run it through there and just get this perfectly flat, one square edge. I love that thing. And it's just
nice.
amazing how that's like the first step in transforming your wood to what it's going to then end up as. It's my favorite tool.
I'm going to actually jump back in and second that. I do a lot of wood processing for our classes here.
Okay.
And as I'm sitting at that planer and I'm just running boards through, oh my gosh, it is just like
satisfying.
butter, and it's so satisfying. Yeah.
Well, I want to be opposite of these guys. I've been here, for my time here. I love the big joiner is really cool for doing that, but for a lot of stuff I've done, that 8-inch joiner has been
the OG.
The OG. So the 8-inch joiner,
go-to.
and it's the go-to for me. I don't do a lot of the real wide stuff. Sometimes I do. Once in a while I do, but for all the projects I've done since I've been here, I've used that little joiner quite a bit more than I've used that big. But the big joiner is pretty slick. So so that's really cool. I don't know. We don't really need to get into cost or anything about tools. I mean, like you guys said, you can start at $100,000 and it just goes up from there. And
we do try to run high-end tools though, to that point. Like there's, when you're talking about cost and tools, there's a range, right? And it depends on your brand and the type of materials that they use to make the tool. We try to be towards the higher end, without being overly expensive. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
We don't want to run cheap tools here.
So, okay, I guess that makes me think of another question. I know you guys said that you get people that are never been in a wood shop before to people that are very experienced. Do you ever run into, buying those a little better tools or more expensive tools? Do those hold up better to people that make mistakes or just don't know how to operate them? Or
for sure,
is it save you a little bit on that kind of end when somebody's doing something wrong or they just don't know or something better?
Yeah.
A lot of these tools, when you pay a little more and get that nicer tool, you are getting kind of that industrial strength of tool, and it lasts longer, no question. We've explored a few different options for things, and some of the stuff that you might buy for your home shop where you're the only one using it and you can do exactly the way you want, and it might work there, but here where it's being used by all these different people with all this different experience, and sometimes they do more out of ignorance, but they do make a mistake. It's they're not, everyone tries to take care of it, but when you don't know, you don't know. And so those nicer tools have held up, I think, way better than others we've tried.
One thing that I also look at is the customer service side of things, because if a tool breaks and it's really hard to get a replacement part, I don't want to buy that tool. I want to know that I can get that part.
So should we give Powermatic a little shout out?
Yeah.
Actually, they've been phenomenal.
They've been the best.
Their warranty, absolutely amazing.
Best. Yeah.
We did have an issue with one of our sanders once. And we they sent us a part or two. We troubleshooted,
They've been great.
getting it. They even sent a guy on site that they've got to look at it. Ultimately, they determined, we're just going to send you and so they sent us a brand new sander under warranty to replace it. Those guys have been phenomenal, absolutely amazing to work with.
Yep.
So this is the first time I ever worked with Powermatic tools in my history of woodworking.
Me too. Me too. It was here at the shop.
The one tool that we haven't talked about that I love also is that drum sander.
Oh.
There's two. They have two drum sanders here, and I never had a drum sander. I mean, we had a planer and a table saw, and that's what we used to make cutting boards
and a little random orbital.
Well, we didn't even have random orbitals. We had just vibrating ones.
Yeah.
So yeah. Cool. Well, I think we'll move on here a little bit. Sticking on the last question about tools. What is one tool everyone thinks they need but doesn't really need, in your guys' opinion?
Oh, I have a quick answer.
Yeah, go, man, go. I've got my mind just went.
When you get into woodworking, it will be irresistible. You will want to drill square holes, and you do that with the mortiser press.
We didn't even talk about that.
And it's one that certainly is useful and handy, and it's really funny though, because I see a lot of guys in their garage with these mortiser presses that never get used. Around here, it's super handy for furniture making.
On occasion,
but it's to me, that's the classic iconic, like, I've got to have it, and then I never use it.
That's a good answer. It's probably the least used tool in the shop.
Yeah, what we're talking about is there's a dedicated, what they call a mortising drill. I don't know if it's a drill press, mortising tool, but it cuts square holes for mortise and tenon joints. And I actually just used it just before Christmas for my.
It's great. It's great. I mean, don't get us wrong. Like, there is a definite purpose for it, and there are guys out there that maybe are going to see this and they're going to come at us. It's fine. No, don't. But it's just there's a purpose for it, and unless you're in that realm, you're not going to use that tool.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
So whereas a lot of these other tools are more universal across a selection of projects, that mortise to tenon is so specific.
Yeah, very. Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, let's talk about, before we end up wrapping up here, let's talk about how to get involved at the community woodshop of Salt Lake City. Membership option, classes offered. So shout all your socials and all the stuff, and then and the best way to visit all that. So
yeah, for sure. So let me give you a couple of options here. Totally free. Everyone's invited. Come out. Ryan mentioned these open houses. We call them sawdust sessions. What could sound better than coming to a wood shop for a sawdust session? It's funny, we're not making any sawdust in these sessions, but it's show and tell. We bring food, and it's just a great way to connect, meet people, see what people are building. In show and tell, we do like the little Q&A where you can just ask, like, well, how'd you do this? And usually people are telling all the mistakes they made as they made a project. We do sawdust sessions once a month, second Saturday of the month. If you go on our website, so that's another way to get involved, just drop us your phone number on one of the contact forms. We'll send you a text message invite to those. And that's like number one, come to those. Other options on the website, so communitywoodshopslc.com. You can choose from a class. You don't have to be a member. You don't have to have experience. Anyone can come sign up for a class and take a class. And a couple other ways. If you work for a company that sometimes does little team building activities, we do those corporate classes too. So like tell your HR, tell your manager, if you are the manager, treat your team to something that they will love. Most commonly, people come in and make a cutting board, and they just go home just huge smiles, blown away that in like a 2-hour session they made this beautiful cutting board.
It's really a good team building event. Actually, it's a good way for people to interact with each other and do something that maybe they haven't done before. That also builds a lot of confidence within them that then spreads to your employees. So,
yep. And then last is a membership, and so memberships, it gives you 24/7 access to professional level shop with all the greatest tools, where you can come and kind of test your creativity, push it to its limits, try new things, meet the community, get help. And we've got different membership tiers that kind of make it accessible to nearly anyone to get in here, and for a fraction of the cost that it would be to do anything like this at home alone, you can still get that 24/7 access by just getting a membership here to Community Woodshop.
Do you have any like social medias? I know you got a website. Yeah, shout out your.
Totally.
I'll put a link to the website
And our
on the-
social. So Instagram and Facebook, it's look us up on there. I'm sure he'll show it across the bottom of the screen.
yeah,
Can't remember.
But it is
Community Woodshop SLC.
on Instagram.
Yeah.
And then
Okay.
is that the same on Facebook?
Yeah.
Okay.
Great.
Okay. Community Woodshop.
Couldn't remember if we got that. I made it 5 years ago. Okay, come on.
It's Community Woodshop SLC.
Okay.
And yeah, and then I mean my other Turning from the Woods is my art site.
Is that
Yeah.
is that your personal Instagram site?
Yeah, Turning from the Woods.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
So that and the Community Woodshop, just Community
Woodshop SLC.
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay.
Don't
Cool.
put that.
Any final thoughts you'd like to share about your shop or the community or any of it, or
Do you know what? If you're watching this, my final thought is just get started.
Yes.
Whether you're doing it at home with a neighbor, with a grandpa, a cousin, or
Friend,
here
yeah.
at Community Woodshop, like no one has ever looked back from getting into woodworking and said, "Man, why did I do that?" They have all said, "This is amazing, and I want to share it." And that's what we want to do with you: is just get started.
Great.
cool. Well, thanks Ryan and Ethan from the Community Woodshop SLC. We would like to thank them for the time, the space, the opportunity. I mean, for me, it's been really cool because it's kind of like I'm going to build stuff and then it's kind of morphed into what we're doing now. But thank you guys. Appreciate it. And
Thank you,
thanks for
Sheldon.
the cool t-shirt. You
Yeah.
know,
It's fresh as of today.
I've been begging them since no, I haven't. I've asked them for a hat. And this podcast will be on SWG Woodworking on YouTube to start out, and then there's actually going to be SWG Woodworking Off the Bench podcast, I think is what I called it.
Cool.
And I'm going to put that on there. And
Very cool.
A couple of just not like shout outs, well, shout outs, not sponsored, but shout outs once again to the Community Woodshop SLC. And then I have to shout out my dad. He's helped me with all the camera stuff and everything, get me set up so I could do these kind of things. And
Good dad.
thanks for watching.
Yeah. Thanks for
Thank
having
you.
us.
Thanks, guys.
Yep.